how do knowledge workers or business architects adapt to the new business reality? This story was inspired by a holiday that we just passed, Labor Day, to recognize and honor the laborers of the economy. As current and future digital laborers, how do you position yourself for the future? The Industrial Revolution was primarily driven by machines and people working on those machines, mostly in assembly lines. To make people more efficient so that they can work in sync with the machines that they were operating, managers based on Frederick Taylor's scientific management began to treat people simply as a resource or a cog in the industrial wheel. So optimizing people's work and time was treated as an engineering optimization problem, where workers were forced to operate within strict processes and limits. This is often called Theory X. Think workers in an auto assembly line. Then came the digital revolution, where knowledge workers became a predominant part of the workforce. Since their work was hard to put bounds around, more freedom was given to these workers, who had the chance to innovate and be creative within their work context. Just by the nature of their work, their sphere of influence and control expanded. This is often called Theory Y, which is at the other end of the spectrum. A different set of more human-centric management principles drove the progress in this era. More importance was given to human abilities like relationship building, collaboration, and empathy, things that machines and technologies were not so good at. We are at the beginning of a new revolution that I'll call cognitive revolution. In this current reality, AI systems, which can analyze huge volumes of data with ease to find patterns, are again replacing some of the traditional roles of knowledge work. If you are a knowledge worker, your job may change. Think of a legal assistant who reads and summarizes large volumes of case histories to support a case today. AI can read and summarize a much larger volume of documents much quicker. JP Morgan, for example, used AI to replace 360,000 person-hours a year with an AI system called Coin that could do the same job in just a few seconds. Financial advisors are being replaced by robo-advisors since investment patterns can be generalized by the past history. In this video, I'll offer a framework for how to position ourselves well in the organizations that we work for. But first, hit that subscribe button and click on the bell icon to be notified of videos on AI and architecture that I publish every other week. On this line, the left-hand side talks to tasks that are easily automatable by machines and computers. This is where much of the automation occurs, with humans filling the gap whenever automation is too difficult or too expensive. On the right-hand side, we have more cognitive tasks that humans are good at, but computers are not yet. With artificial intelligence, though, that level to which work can be automated is shifting more and more towards the right, which means that more and more people who fall on the left-hand side of the line are losing their jobs or parts of their jobs to automation. To overcome this, workers have to move towards the right-hand side of that automation line. By the way, I just realized that people might interpret what I said in a political context. Please don't. Now, this line is not fixed, nor is it very clear-cut, and I'm illustrating just the concept here. The workers on the right-hand side of the automation bring into play their human-centric skills like critical thinking, creativity, and storytelling. This does not mean that you don't have to have domain knowledge or expertise, but you need to have additional skills to position yourself to solving real business problems and add value to the company that you're working for. So what's the problem with being on the left-hand side of this line? companies might treat people who fall on that side simply as a substitutable resource, and therefore take an engineering optimization approach to making their organizations effective, but the people will be automated out of a job. Even today, many managers want to manage people as commodities. That's much easier than having to deal with humans and their peculiarities. In other words, they like to use Theory X to optimize a business because that's much easier than having to deal with pesky humans. However, much of the human skills and advantages lie towards Theory Y end of the spectrum. Given that machines automate some kind of work and are easily scalable, managers should not worry about the left-hand side, but focus rather on the right-hand side. They should have to develop their people to learn and excel at things that systems, including AI systems, are poor at. I have talked a lot in my previous videos on skills such as creativity and empathy. On top of that, the ability to see the big picture, ability to connect the dots, ability to leverage machines as partners, and so on are important. This is a side that will set the direction of the company for many more years to come. People who lead the organization will not be able to do their jobs effectively without the thinkers and architects helping them along the way. We have seen many instances of major companies failing when leaders did not look at the data or understand their environment well enough to make good judgment calls or decisions. Kodak failed because they did not anticipate the change in the digital camera market, even though they invented the digital camera. J.C. Penney's CEO thought that he had a template for success by using the same formula he had used at Apple stores. But that exercise failed miserably because the customer segments were completely different. And Boeing's 737 MAX fiasco was caused because leaders did not understand the gravity of the situation. Through this spectrum, some workers will be employees and some contractors. One company's employee distribution may look like this, with a large number of people towards the left and fewer towards the right. The contractors are intended to provide the liquid part of the workforce, allowing companies to scale up and down much faster in response to the market. They may have a distribution that looks like this, a little bit thicker, with a large number of people helping with the mechanics of the work itself and less of the thinkers and strategists. Uber, for example, where most drivers are contractors, has this model. If you're a business architect, one of the types of knowledge workers that I often focus on, you might want to position yourself on the right, where you can provide the context, direction, and analysis to the leaders who make decisions. These decisions are based on keen analysis of the environment using good data, structured thinking, and not just based on ad hoc or gut-based decisions. Google believes and has bet its business that every organization of the future will be a data-driven organization. So wouldn't it make sense for you to be an integral part of that data feed in your organization? This is the strategic end of the organization that learns about and explores its ecosystem, and based on the direction it takes, pulls the rest of the organization along. By positioning yourself here, you'll help organizational leaders make better decisions. Some strategy decisions that you help the organization make could have long-lasting implications. If you enjoyed watching this video, please consider subscribing. You can download a free one-page visual summary of this video by signing up for my mailing list on my website. Thank you deeply for spending some virtual time with me and giving me the motivation to do what I do.